Hi people, how y'all doing? Welcome and welcome back to the channel. It is Sandra here, and I'm going to be getting into Douglas Murray, and he says Douglas Murray silences young Muslim on free speech. Okay, so going to be my first time getting into this, and I know that Douglas is so honest. He literally just, you ask a question, he gives you the raw undiluted answer, regardless of the fact that it could be offensive. I'm not saying he's offensive. I'm just saying that I really look forward to getting to him because I know that he's going to give his raw undiluted opinion and just facts as well. So we are going to be getting into this on Muslims speaking on freedom of speech. Okay, so this is going to be my first time getting into this, as I already said. Super excited, super pumped, and I really want for you all to see this video through me. So please do stick around from the very start to the very end. Okay, so yeah, let's just get right into the video.
Failed its Muslims. It is Islam that has failed Europe. I'd argue Islam has failed its Muslims.
I'm a British female. I love this country and I give this country. Now you're calling me a problem. I don't think I am. I think you are. Second point is...
In a thought-provoking exchange on free speech and immigration, Douglas Murray challenges societal norms while engaging in a heated discussion with a young Muslim student about the complexities of immigration, the association of Islam with violence, and the importance of free speech in Europe. As tensions rise and perspectives clash, the conversation takes an unexpected turn, leaving viewers captivated by the powerful exchange of ideas. Check this out.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Tariq says that Europeans associate Islam with violence. There is some truth in that. There is also a very obvious reason for that, which is that Islam is associated with violence. It was not Buddhists who flew planes into the Twin Towers. It was not Hindus or Jews that blew up the London Underground in buses a few years ago. And that simple fact has to be acknowledged if you're even going to start a dialogue. Now, what is happening... Ladies and gentlemen, it's not a pantomime. I'd argue that Europe has done not too badly, considering the circumstances. In the middle of the last century, there was an almost negligible Muslim presence in Europe. At the turn of the 21st, in Western Europe alone, there were 15 to 17 million Muslims. That's a very fast migration, ladies and gentlemen, one of the fastest in human history. And no society would find it easy to deal with that kind of migration. As it happens, European societies, Western European societies have, I think, dealt with this much better than some would. Certainly, Muslims coming to live in Britain and in Western Europe enjoy more rights and better rights, among them freedom of worship, than they do in any Islamic country in the earth here today. We do have a problem. We have a problem when the failures of Islam throughout the world, the failures of all Islamic societies, come here into Britain. Their intolerance of freedom of conscience, their intolerance of apostates, their intolerance of freedom of expression and freedom of speech, their intolerance of minorities, other religious minorities, sexual minorities, their intolerance of gays, their dislike and distrust of half of the population, women, and many, many other things. And the call, what's more, for a parallel legal system within Britain and European societies. This is monstrous. No other group behaves like this, asks for parallel laws. This is a fundamental problem, and it's one we're going to have to deal with. It's a problem between a society, Western Europe, that believes that laws are based on reason, and Islam that believes that they are based on revelation. Between these two ideas, I'm not sure there is very much compromise for Europe. It is not Europe that has let down its Muslims, but the Muslims of Europe that have let down Europe. This is not solely something which we have to say we can never reconcile. Of course we can reconcile this, but we need to be honest about it. We need to be frank about it, and we cannot avoid things just because they are unpleasant. And if there were one thing I would wish Muslims in Europe could learn today, as fast as possible, it would be this: that you have no right in this society not to be offended. You have no right to say that because you don't like something you can commit violence, or you would like something to be stopped or censored. You have no right to have more hate laws or hate crime laws or hate speech laws just to defend Islam. You have to realize, the Muslims of Europe have to realize, that a society in which even your deepest feelings can be trodden upon is the only society worth living in. And the sooner we can learn that, the sooner that Islam can learn that within Europe, the better. It is not Europe that has failed its Muslims. It is Islam that has failed Europe. I'd argue Islam has failed its Muslims. Thank you.
Douglas Murray highlights the rapid and unprecedented migration of Muslims into Europe, which poses significant integration challenges. European societies have made commendable efforts to accommodate the new arrivals by providing rights and freedoms. However, it's important for Muslim communities to adapt to Western values and norms, such as freedom of expression, gender equality, and secular laws. Integration efforts need to be more robust to address challenges faced by second-generation immigrants in Europe.
Lady here with the headscarf, and then we'll come to our panel.
I'm a British female. I love this country and I give this country. Now you're calling me a problem. I don't think I am. I think you are. Second point is, as a Muslim female, okay, my parents might not let me go somewhere late at night because people are racist to me. They tell me to go back home and they hurt me. I got hit by 2 white guys and they laughed at me because I'm a scarfie, okay? Last point is to Mr. Fleming, about the point where you said about the religion, changing religion. Every person has the right to. No one says anything about that. But if you had a daughter or a son that wanted to become a Muslim, would you be happy about that? I don't think so.
Douglas, I want to ask you, you heard some of the people from the floor there, the woman complaining about attacks on her because she's described as a scarfie because she wears a head veil. I mean, that is something that you would regret. I mean, that doesn't promote social cohesion.
Nobody thinks that any physical attacks or any such thing could be a good thing to happen. Of course not. Of course there are. Let's make sure we're right.
Talking about
prejudice exists in society. Let's just be absolutely clear as an audience. Prejudice undoubtedly exists in this society. It exists across racial groups, including from minorities to other minorities, after all, which is one of the things we see increasingly in Britain these days. And it is also the case that people, in particularly famously lower socioeconomic groups, are likely to feel hatred for other groups. That is one of the things that has to be tackled, and everyone, I think, in this hall, I'm sure, we're in agreement that that should be tackled. But do not mix up somebody, a thug, a racist, and so on, attacking somebody in a street with the right of Fleming and me to say what we see in the Quran, what we think of Muhammad, and maybe even asserting our right to say so.
Okay, all right, now...
Douglas Murray argues that freedom of speech is the cornerstone of Western civilization, allowing people to express their ideas, challenge norms, and foster innovation. However, freedom also means encountering offensive opinions, and the appropriate response is dialogue and debate. The clash over free speech, a notable example, involved the publication of cartoons depicting the Prophet Muhammad in a Danish newspaper in 2005. The cartoons sparked global protests and debates about the limits of free speech, with many in the Muslim community finding them offensive. The broader Western response emphasized the importance of protecting the right to free expression, even when it is controversial. Statistics show that societies that uphold freedom of speech tend to be more innovative and economically prosperous. Countries with strong protections for free speech, such as the United States and Western Europe, often rank high in global innovation indices. Salman Rushdie, who faced death threats over his book The Satanic Verses, has consistently argued for the importance of free speech, arguing that a free society must defend the right to critique and question all beliefs, including religious ones. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and share your thoughts below. Subscribe to our channel for more insightful content on faith and spirituality.
Okay, as I always said, this was quite educated. Okay, so obviously there's no form of violence that is justified. There is really no form of violence that is justified, and I feel like people tend to misunderstand freedom of speech and hate, freedom of speech and racism. Okay, literally it is speech. It's just a freedom to express yourself vocally, expressing yourself with words. Okay, and if in a case where someone is expressing themselves with violence, with physical touch, violent physical touch, that isn't freedom of speech. That is just a racist, that is a violent person who needs to face the law. Okay, so I feel like I'm sorry on behalf of the girl who had to go through that because she's a scarfie. I really didn't even know what a scarfie is up until today. I mean, I do know people wear hijab, but I didn't know that it had like a word or like a term, that it's something people notice. Because I mean, it's not even something I do notice. I see someone with a scarf and I'm like, okay. But even the whole phrase scarfy, it's like, putting them in a box, like putting people who are usually on scarf and hijabs in a box, which I don't even feel like is necessary. But I feel, like we should embrace freedom of speech. And me, I'm not saying this as someone who is like stoic or who is like hard. I do get offended most times when I do see, certain people saying certain things about certain things, right? And there are times I've actually read some people's comments and ideas, and I feel like it's extreme. Okay, it's too much. Okay, I feel like there are times when I also feel like, oh my god, we're taking the freedom of speech a notch higher, right? But at the same time, it is freedom of speech. We all need to have freedom of speech unselected, because if we start selecting which speech is acceptable or which speech should be acceptable, then it's it takes away from the whole idea of promoting freedom of speech and all of that. Okay, so I just had to say that piece, and that's obviously what I took home from this. Obviously, I want to know what you all think about this down in the comment box. Please do not hesitate to engage me. Please do engage me down in the comment box. I'm really gonna appreciate it. But upon to the very next one, let us keep on staying safe and healthy. If you have subscribed to my channel and you know that you do appreciate videos as such, please do well to hit the subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, and share the video if you can. And yeah, so see you guys in the next one. Bye.